In the first half, we discussed how Sri Ramakrishna has been regarded as the incarnation of harmony, the prophet of harmony, and we shall see what wonderful light Swami Vivekananda throws on this aspect of the Master, which is so very necessary if you want to have peace, cooperation, harmony and love between all humankind in the world. So we will try to understand the significance of Sri Ramakrishna's great teachings in this regard, how he harmonized all the different spiritual ideals in a way no one has ever done before. And needless to say, we will do this with the help of what his greatest disciple, Swami Vivekananda, has said about him, about his master. We need to understand the teachings of these great saints, incarnations, as far as our intelligence goes. Because the reason for this, Swami Vivekananda has explained, we can understand God only through his human form, as that is the only way to connect with God in our present state of existence. Quoting Swamiji, he says, God, though everywhere, can be known to us in and through human character. No character was ever so perfect as Sri Ramakrishna's, and that should be the center round which we ought to rally. At the same time, allowing everybody to regard him in his own light, either as God, Savior, teacher, or just a great man, as one pleases. So Swami Vivekananda has dealt with great length on how the Master was the great harmonizer and how universal and Catholic were his teachings. So he says in one of his lectures, the one great idea I learned from my Master, and which is perhaps the most vital, is the wonderful truth that the religions of the world are not contradictory or antagonistic. They are but various phases of one eternal religion. The one eternal religion is applied to different planes of existence, is applied to the opinions of various minds and various races. There never was my religion or your religion, my national religion or your national religion. There never existed many religions. There is only the one. One infinite religion existed all through eternity and will ever exist. And this religion is expressing itself in various countries in various ways. Therefore, we must respect all religions and we must try to accept them all as far as we can. So this is a wonderful statement. There never was many religions. There has been only one religion. So what does this mean? This means that when human beings see that same one religion, they give their own interpretations of that depending on their state of mind. We give various names, we give various interpretations of that same one religion. To understand this is very relevant today if you want peace in this world, but it was even more important in India at the time Sri Ramakrishna was born. So let us go to that period and see what were the conditions which existed at that time. So at the time Sri Ramakrishna was born, the majority of the people in India were very narrow-minded. Like the frog in the well, they kept themselves confined within a narrow circle. They didn't have the capacity to see anything outside it. Narrow-mindedness was the order of the day. People didn't want to have any contact with those who didn't belong to their own circle or religion. Hindus sat in their own confines, and people of other religions also did the same. So these small barriers were created. My religion, your religion, his religion. And of course, when these are done, immediately it is our nature to prove that mine is better, yours is inferior. So the thing is, did God create these barriers or they are our own creation? A little thinking will tell us that we can never confine the ruler of this infinite universe within a temple, a church, or a mosque. Can God be ever limited by any boundaries?
No.
He cannot. Then why do we try to create artificial fences over imaginary boundaries? The Master found this tendency of ours incomprehensible as well as unbearable. It makes no sense. He saw all human beings as just human beings. If he made any distinction between them, it would only be on the basis of the degree of manifestation of divinity within them. If he praised any person, this would be the only criterion. No barriers could ever limit him. Transcending all kinds of limitation, he became one with the shoreless and bottomless ocean of the ultimate reality. The Master's vision is indeed unique. His vision can only be compared to the infinite sky. The only difference is the sky is inert, but the Master was consciousness itself. Again and again he said, God exists within all of us as existence, knowledge, and bliss. It is He alone who exists within the saint and the sinner, the ignorant and the learned, the rich and the poor. He exists equally within people of all religion, castes, and creeds. We cannot see Him. That is our fault, because we are covered with ignorance. The more we remove this ignorance by dint of our sadhana, by making our hearts pure, that same God will manifest in our hearts. Understanding this, the Master would mix equally with followers of all the different religions. No deceit, no pretension ever found a place in his heart. He would relish the company of all devotees from the depth of his heart. How was this possible? It was possible only because he realized the presence of that one reality within each and every person. God can manifest himself to a greater or lesser degree within a person belonging to any caste, any sect, or religion. The great poet Nazrul Islam has said, the same Brahman is worshipped in temples, mosques, and churches. So this is not simply a poet's imagination, but it is actually true. The Master practiced the sadhanas prescribed by so many different religions and realized that the goal of all of them was to attain that one God who creates, preserves, and destroys this universe. Whenever the desire arose in his mind to practice sadhana through a particular method, a suitable teacher himself came to him to guide him almost miraculously. So, we all often speak of toleration, tolerating other religions. But to the master, toleration was not enough. He practiced acceptance of all religions. And this acceptance was not based upon book learning in the case of the master. It was based on his own experiences. This is the speciality. This is one of the characteristics that made Sri Ramakrishna unique. So, as already said, that at the time the master was born, the followers of different religions, even those belonging to the same religion but different sects, were always quarreling. And of course, in India, the rigid caste system also creates walls around human beings. So the end result was fanaticism and atheism. Even many thoughtful people of India believed that since religion was turning out to be the cause of factionalism, quarrels, and even enmity, it should no longer have a place in our society. So religion should be banished, because it's religion leading to all these quarrels. Just imagine. So you will be surprised to know that when news reached India that the Parliament of Religions was being held in Chicago, so some people said, let us send a representative, Hinduism's representative, to Chicago. So many great people of the society, well-known people of the society, all those records are there, the still newspaper records are there. They protested. They said, what? Hinduism. They are Hindus. They are telling, what does Hinduism have? That we should propagate this religion anywhere? What does our religion have? So if you study the lectures of Swamiji after he returned from the West, this one idea you will find repeated. He said, I have found the secret. Religion is not to blame. Religion only unites us. But when religion is misinterpreted by selfish persons, narrow-minded persons, then it causes all these quarrels. So, because of these people who did not understand the main truths of religion, there was anti-religious movement. Just imagine. It is not that such a movement had not existed before. It had existed even in ancient times. But then it had a different form. The platform was philosophical. Like those who have read a little of the 6 philosophical systems of our country, you will also know the name of Charvaka philosophy. So Charvak, Charu means sweet, Vak means speech. So very sweet words. What? Do whatever you like. No karma, there is no God. So anything you do will be finished on earth. So take away a big loan and just vanish from the face of the earth and enjoy. So those kinds of words are very sweet. So that became Charvak philosophy. So they are also protesting against religion. But that is on a different platform. But during Sri Ramakrishna's time, the difference was those who claimed to be believers, even they built stronger barriers around themselves than even the atheists had done, even the Charvakas had done. And these barriers, unfortunately, have not been broken, even in modern times. On the surface, it is not visible, but the undercurrent cannot be denied. So, we ourselves, human beings, like silkworms, have become bound by the web we have created, that we have spun. And the result is conflict. That is why even in Hinduism we find almost an infinite number of sects. And during the master's time, we know the English ruled India, and many among them were atheists. Those among them who did believe in God called upon everyone to accept Jesus Christ as the only God. Rulers do like that. In the time of Aurangzeb, the same thing happened. Allah is the only God. So, the Hindus, Muslims, and followers of other religions claim that their religion was the only true one. This was the situation when Sri Ramakrishna was born. And just see the scenario. Now, of course, we know about him, people are aware, but see the scenario. Let us go back to those times. Sri Ramakrishna was born where? Not even in a big city like Calcutta or Bombay or Delhi or Madras. He was born in a backward small village called Kamarpukur. Nobody had even heard of that village, where education was practically non-existent. Though Kamarpukur is not very far from Calcutta, modern culture had not entered there. What about then? When I had first visited Kamarpukur around 35 years ago, still huts made of mud and that straw, I myself have seen. So what about Sri Ramakrishna's time? What did exist in Kamarpukur were poverty and illiteracy. So this is nothing new for incarnations. Sri Krishna was born in a prison house, in a jail. The master was also born in a prison, but that prison was of poverty, ignorance, and narrow-mindedness. But in spite of being born in such a village, the master, even as a child, possessed extraordinary love for God, and he hankered to actually see God. So he prayed with great yearning to the Divine Mother to manifest the bliss of God within him. And in the beginning, he did not follow any prescribed religion, no prescribed mode of sadhana. All he did was to pray with great yearning. But afterwards, he not only performed sadhana according to the different sects of Hinduism, but also according to other religions like Islam and Christianity. So this is something unique. This was an extraordinary desire. And of course, last of all, he practiced Vedantic sadhana, which led him to the realization of that one ultimate reality. So after that, the master could say with certainty, with convictions, that all the people who have realized that same reality speak in the same language. This is the thing. So Divine Mother had herself ordained that the master would practice those religions. In the words of Swami Vivekananda, the desire that seized upon the soul of this man, this he is speaking about Sri Ramakrishna. The desire that seized upon the soul of this man was to know truth about the various religions. Up to that time, he had not known any religion but his own, but he wanted to understand what other religions were like. So he sought the teachers of other religions. Now, by teachers, you must always remember what we mean in India, what we mean by guru in India. Not a bookworm, but a man of realization, one who knows truth first hand and not through an intermediary. So So Sri Ramakrishna found a Mohammedan saint and placed himself under him. He underwent the disciplines prescribed by him, and to his astonishment, he found that when faithfully carried out, those devotional methods led him to the same goal he had already attained. Faithfully carried out. That is the secret. He gathered similar experience from following the true religion of Jesus Christ. Then he went to all the sects he could find, and whatever he took up, see, he did not spend his time giving lectures and writing books. That is the main thing. He only practiced, actually carried out in his own life. Whatever he took up, he went into with his whole heart, with great faith, tremendous energy. He did exactly what he was told by his Guru to do. And in every case, he reached the same goal. So from actual experience, he came to know that the goal of all religions is the same, and each is trying to teach the same thing. Then what is the difference? The difference is in method and in language. That is all the difference. At the core, all the sects and religions have the same aim, and they are only quarreling for selfish purposes. People of those religions who quarrel, they are not anxious about the truth. They are quarreling about my name, your name. That is all. What I say is true, what you say is wrong. That is the only thing. So this indeed was the great uniqueness of Sri Ramakrishna. He actually practiced these different faiths. So he himself says in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, it is said, I have practiced the disciplines of all the paths, each for a few days. I have practiced all the disciplines, therefore I accept all the paths. I respect the Shaktas, followers of Shiva, the Vaishnavas, followers of Vishnu, and also the Vedantists. Therefore, people of all sects come here. Means they came to Sri Ramakrishna. And every one of them thinks, I belong to his sect. That is the thing. I also respect the modern Brahmagyanis, that is the members of the Brahmo Samaj. Why should I be one-sided? So, Sri Ramakrishna wanted to enjoy God in every possible way. That's why he never drew any boundaries. His heart was so large that people with every religious attitude found a place there. This aspect of the master's character should be specially noted. This is not common, even now. So, one of our Swamis, he is also in North America. So, I and that Swami had joined at Advaita Ashram just within a few days of each other. So, unlike me, he had gone to various sects before joining the Ramakrishna order. So, to one sect he had gone. I will not, of course, mention the name. So, as in that particular sect, he just mentioned the name of Shankaracharya. Immediately, on hearing that, those people believe that Shankaracharya Advaita, he was born to spread Maya. To spread Maya. Just imagine. So as soon as they heard the name of Shankaracharya, they said, just get out. This is not talking about 100 years ago, this is just 30 years ago. So in one of our posts, our societies, not ours, I was in Calcutta at that time. So we had posted a lecture, I think the title was, As Many Faiths, So Many Paths. I think it was either on YouTube or something. The YouTube was in the society's name, Ashrama's name. So one person commented, it is doctrines like this that is ruining the whole world. So this is not gone. We should not think that things have fundamentally changed. No, it still exists. This dogmatism. That is why Sri Ramakrishna, after realizing the same truth, he said, God can be realized through all paths. The important thing is to reach the roof. You can reach it by stone stairs or by wooden stairs or by bamboo steps or by a rope. And another thing he said, one should not think my religion alone is the right path and other religions are false. God can be realized by means of all paths. So, what is necessary? There is only one thing necessary. He said, it is enough if we have sincere yearning for God. That is all. But we should remember that it is not easy to get this kind of yearning. Once a person has that, then his path to realizing God is open. So infinite are the paths, infinite are the opinions. It does not matter at all. While describing the nature of God, the Master would often stress that we should never try to limit Him in any way whatsoever. We should never say that God is only this much. And we can never say that God cannot do this or He cannot do that. So God can be everything, and we understand about Him depending on the condition of our mind. So if we understand only a little, this does not mean that God is little. It means that our mind is little. Our minds are limited and can only think along narrow lines. According to the Master, there is no need for us to change our conception of God. He does not say that. You believe in what you do. That is perfectly alright. But don't try to make others believe what you believe. That is the important. So this is not in only the field of religion. This is in the field of all the aspects of life, which we all know. So all the sects, at the core, all the sects and religions have the same aim. This is the truth. And the Master also quoted saints in this regard. He said, Master said, Sri Ramakrishna said, Kabir used to say, God with form is my mother, God without form is my father. So very rarely you find anyone saying this when Master Masha had first gone to Sri Ramakrishna. So Sri Ramakrishna asked him, what kind of God do you believe in? With form or without form? So immediately Master Masha wondered, which kind of God do I believe in? That is a strange question, no? He should tell me that God, is He with form or without form? Then I should believe in that. But He is asking me. So he said, I believe, sir, in God without form. Sri Ramakrishna said, okay, no problem. Be steady in that path. But don't think that God is only without form. That is the main teaching. So, the two sides of the scale are even, said Kabir, formless as well as with form. Whichever attitude we adopt, we will certainly realize God if we have firm faith in that particular aspect of God. This is the thing. So, does this mean that God changes? When we think of him as with form, he becomes with form. When we think of him as without form, his form dissolves. Does that mean when God changes? No, not at all. The master gave the example of a lake from which many people draw water. So in the Kamapukur at those times, even drinking water sometimes was got from the lake. Now this same water, Sri Ramakrishna says, some call it pani. The Muslims will call it pani. The Hindus will call it jal. The English will call it water. But this does not change that water. So whether we call God Christ, Allah or Shiva or Buddha or Divine Mother, this does not change the nature of God. They are just different names of the same reality. This is the thing. So the Master said we should never try to limit God. He was not the first to say this. Actually, this idea that God should not be limited is the very warp and woof of Hinduism. This wonderful doctrine has also been preached in the Gita. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tans tathaiva bhajamyaham. Whoever comes to me through whatsoever form, I reach him. Shri Krishna says, all men are struggling through paths which in the end lead to me alone. That is why Swami Vivekananda, in his response to the welcome address at the parliament, he said, I am proud to belong to a religion which has taught the world both tolerance and universal acceptance. We believe not only in universal toleration, but we accept all religions as true. I am proud to belong to a nation which has sheltered the persecuted and the refugees of all religions and all nations of the earth. I am proud to tell you that we have gathered in our bosom the purest remnant of the Israelites who came to southern India and took refuge with us in the very year in which their holy temples was shattered to pieces by Roman tyranny. I am proud to belong to the religion which has sheltered and is still fostering the remnant of the grand Zoroastrian nation. So this was there in our scriptures earlier also. It is nothing new to Hinduism. But the Master, Sri Ramakrishna, was the first one to prove the truth of this statement through his own experiences. That is the thing. Before him, some people had also taught that all religions should be accepted as true. But never before him had anybody demonstrated this truth by practicing so many different paths of sadhana. Maybe the need for this arose only during modern times. That's why Sri Ramakrishna did this. Whatever may be the reason, the Master did perform this superhuman feat. And after doing this, he told us in unmistakable terms that there is only one reality. So, Swamiji, in his Chicago lecture, he also quoted from one of our very ancient hymns, Sanskrit hymns. The same idea is there. That is called the Shiv Mahima Stotram, that is the hymn in praise of Lord Shiva. That verse is Trai Sankhya Yoga Pashupati Matam Vaishnavamiti Prabhinne Prasthane Paramidamada Pathyamiti Cha Ruchinam Vaichitryat Rijukutilana Pathachusham Nrinami Kogamya Somasipaya Samarnava Iva. As different rivers, taking their start from different mountains, running crooked or straight, all come and mingle their waters in the ocean, so the different sects, with their different points of view, at last all come unto God. And Swami Vivekananda tells us this is not just a theory. It has to be recognized as practically true. So there are two words, as we have said. One is toleration. Now toleration has a sort of superior attitude behind this. Yes, he is okay, I tolerate him. So Swami Vivekananda says this principle of all the paths being true should not be just tolerated in a patronizing way, which we see in some people. What is that patronizing attitude? Oh yes, there are some good things in that. These are what we call the ethnical religions. These ethnical religions have some good. This is called toleration. Some people even have the most wonderfully liberal idea, sarcasm is there, that other religions are all little bits of a prehistoric evolution. But our religion is the fulfillment of things. This is the culmination. So one man says because his is the oldest religion, it is the best. Another makes the same claim because his religion is the latest. So Swamiji says this won't do. This patronizing attitude won't do. We have to recognize that each religion, each one of them, has the same saving power as the other. What you have heard about the difference, whether in the temple or in the church, is a mass of superstition. If anybody teaches that his religion teaches something else, he is spreading superstition. The same God answers all, and it is not you or I or any body of men that is responsible for the safety and salvation of the least bit of the soul. If someone says, I will save you, don't believe it. Incarnations of God can say this, that is, Christ and all are different. But if any other person says, don't believe it, because the only Savior is God. He says the same Almighty God is responsible for all. Then Swamiji says, I do not understand how people declare themselves to be believers in God and at the same time think that God has handed over to a little body of men all truth and that they are the guardians of the rest of humanity. How can you call that religion? So religion, Swamiji says again and again, is not talk, not merely trying to believe, not mere groping in darkness, nor is it parroting of the words of ancestors. None of this is religion. If we can just quote scriptures or just say, I believe in this particular thing, I am religious. No. Then what is religion? He says, religion is realization. Religion is being and becoming. If you say, I believe in God, then the next question will be, are you really trying to realize God then? If you are not, then your belief is just lip service. We actually don't believe. So in every sect, Swami Vivekananda says, Wherever there was a man trying to realize religion, they have always said the same thing. What are those words? Thou art the Lord of all. Thou art in the heart of all. Thou art the guide of all. Thou art the teacher of all. So all say the same thing. Even in Hinduism, as we know, there are almost infinite sects, and many of them tend to quarrel with each other. Why? Because even Hindus sometimes don't understand their scriptures correctly. So we know that there are so many Puranas. Shaiva Purana on Shiva. As soon as you open, they will say that Shiva is the greatest god. Vishnu is coming, paying homage. Brahma is coming, paying homage. Then you open, okay, Shiva is the greatest god. You open the Bhagavata Purana. At the very beginning, they will say, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. All others are just parts of Krishna. Then if you open the Chandi about the Divine Mother, you will see Brahma, Vishnu, Krishna, everybody is coming and worshipping the Divine Mother. So we will think that what is our saints and sages, were they crazy? No, it is we who are crazy. Because we don't understand the deep significance of this. If you don't understand, the result will be, my Shiva is greater, your Vishnu is inferior. So one story Swami Vivekananda himself told. He says, I will quote him, dualists naturally tend to become intolerant. They think theirs is the only way. Then he tells this story. The Vaishnavas in India, who are dualists, are a most intolerant sect. Among the Shaivas, another dualistic sect, a story is told. The story of a devotee by the name of Ghanta Karna. Karna means ear, Ghanta means bell. So this person was named Ghanta Karna. Why? We will see. So this Ghanta Karna was a very devout worshipper of Shiva. That is okay. But his problem was, he did not wish even to hear the name of any other god. On account of his intense devotion to Shiva, Shiva saw that this person is a good person, he is devoted to me. So Shiva wanted to teach him that there is no difference between Shiva and Vishnu. He wanted to make him broad-minded. So one day, when he was worshipping Shiva, this Ghanta Karna, Shiva appeared before him. How? He appeared in a unique form. Half of him was Shiva, the other half was Vishnu. So actually Shiva wanted to teach him that I am Vishnu. And Vishnu is Shiva and Shiva is Vishnu. But Ghanta Karna could not learn. So what was happening when Shiva appeared as Vishnu and Shiva, Ghanta Karna was really incensed. As soon as he saw this Vishnu has also come, what did he do? He saw that I am very incensed, sweet smell is coming out. This Vishnu is also enjoying the smell. So he put his finger into the nostril of Vishnu. So that Vishnu could not enjoy that sweet smell. So everybody in the locality came to know about this fellow. As soon as when he used to go on the roads, everybody would just Jai Krishna, and this fellow would get irritated. So everybody came to know. So naturally kids, when they know that if you tease some person, he will get irritated, he will start teasing you. So whenever he used to go out on the road, children used to tease him by saying Brahma, Vishnu, etc. So then what did he do, from which his name came? He tied two bells to his ears. So when he used to walk, the bells would ring, so he would not hear the name of any other deity. So this is the story told by Swami Vivekananda about. So this actually exists. We may not believe it, but people still there are who think in the same way. And Sri Ramakrishna also used to tell a story in this regard. What? Once in the royal court of Bardhaman, there was a heated debate. Which of the two gods, Shiva or Vishnu, was greater? So Pandit Padmalochan was there. He was a great scholar. He was approached. He cannot find a solution. You are a great person. You please tell us. So he said, none of my forefathers up to the 14th generation, that is in Bengali they say, 14 Purush, 14 generations, have seen either Shiva or Vishnu. So I cannot tell you who is greater. So those who argue about God's nature and who is greater, they should keep this Padmalochan's reply in mind. So after saying this, Padmalochan said, this is about what we have realized. But if you want to know what the scriptures say, I can just tell you that Shaiva scriptures called Shiva greater, the Vaishnava scriptures called Vishnu greater. But there is no difference between Shiva and Vishnu. The difference in form and name. So if you go to the Tantras, then they will say, Adya Shakti gave birth to all. Shiva, Vishnu and Maya. So where do you go? So when these problems arise, when we don't understand the meaning of the scriptures. That is why Swami Vivekananda said, without studying Ramakrishna Paramahansa first, one can never understand the real import of the Vedas, the Vedantas and the Puranas. His life is a searchlight of infinite power thrown upon the whole mass of Indian religious thought. He was the living commentary to the Vedas and to their aim. He had lived in one life the whole cycle of the national religious existence in India. So these are astounding words, and we don't have the capacity to really fathom their depth. But that Swami Vivekananda has said this, so it must be true, we should realize that. So coming back to Sri Ramakrishna, he said, let a person take recourse to the ideal he likes and realize God through that. That is the main thing. Take up something and strive, and leave everything else. So Latu Maharaj, Swami Adhutananda, he was completely unlettered. So Sri Ramakrishna was God, he could do anything, but he failed in one thing. He could not make Latu Maharaj read or write. So Latu Maharaj was from Bihar in India. So Sri Ramakrishna, when he started teaching him, he used to say ka. Latu Maharaj would say ka. No, not ka, you say ka. Again he used to say ka. So Sri Ramakrishna said, if you pronounce ka as ka, how will you pronounce ka? So after this, Sri Ramakrishna became disgusted. He said, no, this is not for you. So Latu Maharaj, when it was true, he was unlettered, but Swami Vivekananda said this proved to be a great advantage in his life. What was the great advantage? He applied all his energy to practical sadhana. Even 1% of his energy was not wasted in reading books, and by God's grace, his guru was the Encyclopedia of Religions, Sri Ramakrishna himself. So he was very fortunate in this regard. So when somebody came to Latu Maharaj with big questions, somebody like us, what is this Advaita, what is this Vishishta Advaita. He was a very direct person, Latu Maharaj. He was no diplomacy about him. Whenever somebody used to come, he said, you fellows, you will spend your whole life in debating which is true Advaita Vedanta, this Vedanta, that Vedanta, but you will not carry out even a single thing in practice. You won't do anything. You will just spend your life arguing. So Sri Ramakrishna says, the scriptures are like what? The scriptures have their purpose, but they are like what? He said, they are like shopping lists. Take the list. After you know what you have to bring from the market, you don't need the list anymore. Then you go to the market and bring. But if for 2 hours you do research on the list, you cannot get food. Your hunger will not be satisfied. That is why he says, let anybody perform sadhana, actual sadhana. Let him realize. Then you will find he will never say that my religion is true, yours is not. The paths are diverse, but the ultimate goal is only one, God. And the diversity of paths does not affect God. God abides in His essence amidst diversity. One realizes Him in the form one seeks Him. So if someone is meditating on Shiva, he likes Shiva, then he will have the vision of God as Shiva. Same with others, Vishnu and etc. So this is like dyeing clothes in various colors of one's choice by dipping them into the same dyeing vat, same container. So this is an extraordinary container. Sri Ramakrishna used to say. A man had a tub of dye. Such was its wonderful property that people could dye their clothes in any color they wanted, merely by dipping their clothes in it. So if somebody would say, I want the color red, he would dye in the same color, it would become red. Someone would say, I want it blue, same color, it would become blue. So this is how he explains that these names and forms change, but the essence is the same. So what this means is that the Supreme Principle reveals itself to aspirants as their respective chosen forms. And all these forms are those of God. Therefore, no disrespect is shown to others. Everyone realizes the same God according to his or her inclination, with form or without form. In his simple words, Sri Ramakrishna said, all religions and all paths call upon their followers to pray to one and the same God. Therefore, one should not show disrespect to any person belonging to any religion or to any other religious opinion also. It is the same God who is called Satchitananda Brahman in the Vedas, Krishna in the Puranas, Shiva in the Tantras. It is the same Satchitananda Brahman. So, in the words of Swami Vivekananda, this feeling should not be given any encouragement, this antagonizing feeling or dividing human beings on any ground whatsoever. That is why in his opening speech in the parliament, in his welcome address, Swamiji says that let this parliament, which has invited all these people of different faiths, let this parliament be the death knell. Means it should signify the annihilation of what? Of all fanaticism, of all persecutions with the sword or the pen, of all uncharitable feelings between persons who are actually going to the same goal. So it is end by Swamiji illustrating how this principle found such a wonderful expression in the life of his master. So we just read the conversations of Swamiji when Swamiji is conversing with Sharat Chandra Chakravarti. So to the same disciple he had said, such a synthesis of universal ideas you will not find in the history of the world. Understand from this who was born as Sri Ramakrishna. In time, the whole world must accept the universal and Catholic ideas of Sri Ramakrishna. And of this, only the beginning has been made. Before this flood, everybody will be swept off. He himself is his own parallel. There can nobody be who can compare with him. He has no exemplar. So in order to know about God, we all know that we are asked to study the scriptures. But again, understanding the scriptures is not so easy. That is why when Swami Vivekananda was asked that we all know about the various scriptures of Hinduism, Vedas and all that. So the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, should we treat that as the Vedas? Swamiji said no. Vedas are the Vedas. The characteristic of the Vedas are that they are aparusheya. No human agency is involved at all. So the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna cannot be called the Vedas, but he said it can be called the best commentary on the Vedas. That is why he said, whatever the Vedas, the Vedanta, and all other incarnations have done in the past, Sri Ramakrishna lived to practice in the course of one single life. And he was the explanation of all these scriptures. His life was the explanation. His whole life was spent in breaking down the barriers of sectarianism and dogmatism. The unique feature is what? He formed no sect. And at least by this time, his followers have also not formed a sect. Many of these great people, most of the acharyas, they did not form any sect, but their followers, see, exclusively want to make. Guru Nanak never formed any sect of his own. But slowly, we want something of our own. So this particular tendency of the human mind creates all these divisions. So, Swami Vivekananda says, he formed no sect. Quite the reverse. He advocated and strove to establish absolute freedom of thought. And I will just end with this wonderful line of Swamiji's. He says, this may seem to be dogmatism on the part of Swamiji, but we should remember that he was not an ordinary person like us. We can say many things about our Guru just out of emotion. They have no practical value. But when Swami Vivekananda says something like this, it should be thought about. Whether anybody will accept or not, it depends upon us. There is no problem. So this, what he said, I'm just quoting, all that I am, all that the world itself will someday be, is owing to my master, Sri Ramakrishna, who incarnated and experienced and taught this wonderful unity which underlies everything. Having discovered it himself by his own realization, by his own sadhana, having discovered it alike in all the religions of the world, in all the sects of the world, like Hinduism, Islam, and Christianity. So he just mentions the three major religions, but we know that includes everything. So this great message of Sri Ramakrishna, which Swamiji describes as one of his most important contributions, is especially true in today's world. For those people who are fed up with all this narrow-mindedness and all this bigotry and all this, so here is one place, one person who accepts everything and everybody. Nobody is turned away. He just has one small condition, that is all. Be sincere. Be sincere in your words and thoughts and deeds. And if you believe in God, if your belief is correct, then try to realize God. Try to change your life. If we say we believe in God and after 10 years we also say the same thing and we are the same person, he says that belief is of no use. If there is a God, we have to try to realize Him if we actually believe Him. That is the only condition He puts before us. No other condition. So this wonderful spirit of Sri Ramakrishna, Swamiji has expressed again and again. And this can be carried out not only in the field of religions, it can be carried out in all spheres of life. Accept people as they are. Don't try to change them as you think fit. When we try to do that, all the problems start. From the family right down to the biggest unit. We all know that. This does not mean that don't show the correct path to your youngsters or to those whom you love. This does not mean that. Here, a difference of opinion we are discussing. It is not that if your son is going on the wrong way, then you should not try to bring him back. No, here it is opinions which are being considered. So each has a different method of looking at the same truth. This is the thing. So give him that freedom. Let him grow in his own way, if it is a healthy way. So if we understand this, we will be following in the footsteps of Sri Ramakrishna, and by doing this, there is no doubt that from our family upwards, we will enjoy peace and bliss in this world.